My name is Adi Isaacs. I currently am talking to you from Yerushalayim. I live in Israel. But previously I worked for New York NCSY and also was the director of JOLT. Currently, I run a semester abroad program or a year abroad program at Hebrew University in Israel, where students can get a full year's or semester's worth of credit, academic credit, as well as have a phenomenal Israel and Jewish experience. We do basic training in the army. We also go spend time on kibbutzim and meet with prestigious individuals like the Nobel Prize winner and the mayor of Jerusalem. So if you're interested in having a phenomenal semester or year in Israel of full academic credits and also want to have a great experience, please get in touch with me at my email address. In this week's Parshat VaEira, the Torah starts talking about a lot of the plagues that happened to the Egyptians in Egypt. The second plague is that of Tzfardeya, the frogs. What's interesting to note is if you look in the Torah portion, if you look in the Torah, it says Vatal HaTzfardeya. What happens? Aaron, Moshe's brother, the greatest priest, the greatest Cohen, he takes his staff and hits the Nile River. What happens? Vatal HaTzfardeya, says the Torah. The frog came out. Asks Rashi. Very simple question. We all know the story. We know that the frogs were everywhere. The frogs were in the oven. When someone was getting into bed, they pulled up their cover and the frogs jumped out. The frogs were even in the toilets. So what is the Torah talking about? Vatal HaTzfardeya. That the frog jumped out. It should be plural. There were thousands. There were probably millions. So says the Medrash that Rashi quotes, that what happened? Really, there was only one frog that jumped out. But when an Egyptian saw this frog and he hit it with his hand and it split in two. And then another Egyptian saw another frog, he also hit it and more split. And continued until there were thousands, until there were millions. Ask the Stipler, one of the great sages of the Jewish people. Very simply, why didn't they just stop? If the Egyptians saw that as they were hitting the frogs, they multiplied, so just stop. And it's over. Says the Stipler, a very simple answer. You know where it came from? Anger. Anger caused them to think irrationally, to not use proper judgment. What do I mean? Last week, I saw two siblings arguing. They were arguing over the silliest thing. They were arguing over ice cream. Chocolate's better. No, vanilla's better. Because they got so angry at each other, they continued to fight and fight and fight. And you could see on their faces that they were not happy with each other. They were not happy. When a person gets angry, they begin to lose their sense of rational thought. And that causes so much pain, inner pain. The best way to live a happy life is to not be angry. How do you do this? So I heard a very interesting idea from a rabbi. He had his anger coat. Whenever he wanted to get angry, he said, I'm not going to get angry until I put on my coat. What did he do? He put it on the third story of his house. So anytime he was about to get angry, he said, wait 1 second, I have to go get my coat. And he would walk upstairs. And by the time he got upstairs, he would realize it's just not worth it. Why cause myself, my family, my friends pain by getting angry? It's not worth it. If we can think for ourselves how to manage our own being that we don't get angry, we could take time to think before we act. I guarantee that you'll be able to live a happier, a more meaningful, and exciting life. Have a good Shabbos and enjoy the rest of Parshat VaEira.